Well, we've looked at the 3 options that go with the column tool, and now we're going to start digitizing the design, and I'm going to start slightly differently than I would normally. I'm going to digitize this first. Click onto the arrow and I'm going to go down and pick up the fill tool. Right, now I've got my densities preset and my underlays there set up, and I want to change my fill. I'll settle with fill 5. This isn't a cheat, but I want to show you something that's available to us inside of Embird. Thank you. Wouldn't operate for a minute. And move my nodes into position. I wish I could go a bit faster, I really do. I find this very painful. My speed, that is. Although my hands are a lot better than they were since I stopped using my trackable mouse. Okay, now I'm going to tell that generate stitches. There we go. I don't like the angle. Oh, and I don't like that. Edit. Edit. How on earth did I miss that? Generate. I'm not changing the angle for a minute because I'm going to move this, and I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to carry it up to about there. And place that about there. Right, so it's 1, 2, 3 millimeters away from my center line. Now I right click on the corner handle. It gives me a rotate spot, but I can't get to it. The reason I can't get to it is because I am manually rotating it. And I would say that's about right there. And then move that over, sit it on the 3 millimeter spot. So that's 1 millimeter there, 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters. Okay, regenerate the stitches. Now I can change my stitch angle. Parameters, and set that for 1. Or 0 rather. Wonderful. Generate. I've highlighted it. I go to transform. I go to auto repeat, and the auto repeat dialog box opens. Over here you'll see a circle, type. Click on the little down chevron and tell it circle. Count. Okay, I want 8 petals, so I type in 8. I tell it OK. Line direction, I want it circled. Parallel to baseline. Preview. There is my flower in preview. When I'm happy with it, I can say to it, finish object. Then I can click into it and tell it generate stitches. I right click into the bottom one and I tell it create connection. Then I highlight these and I drop my magnification and I move it into position. And I didn't quite get my measurement up here right. I wanted it to be bigger than that. I also want to turn it. So I right click onto this corner node and not quite enough yet. Turn that. Right, now I want to make it larger. So I left click onto one of the handles, that direction, and I left click on one of the handles in this direction, and I move that over so as that lovely geometric shape that the connections have made in the middle there sit inside that dot, and then I tell it generate stitches. And let's go and look inside of 3D Simulator. Now I would have preferred to have done this in Satin Stitch, so I'm going to give it, do I want auto column or not? Apply, yes I do. Generate, click off, back over to normal, and that's the start of my flower. Now I want to finish the flower off there in the middle, but I don't particularly want to do a red middle, and I don't intend to repeat the red up here. I want to do an orange or a yellow middle, but I do intend to repeat the center color up here. So I'm going over to here, pick up the tool, plonk a node in the center, go up to shape, and tell it give me an ellipse 4 element. Now I never get this right. See what I mean? Two elements. Thank you. And I don't really want this on this side. Ah. Delete that one. Right click, tell it finish object, right click onto the corner handle, turn that around. I want that exit point where I want it. Pop that onto the center there. Go and drag down bright yellow, parameters, and I'm going to leave it on fill 1. Apply, generate. So there is my first element of my design, and I forgot to check and see where my start and end point were. Edit, there it is, right where I want it. So I go back in and I tell it generate stitches. Go back to normal and I pick up my run line tool and I hit my numeral 3 key on my keyboard, and that lays my first node right on top of my last node of that circle, and I lay a run line because I prefer to travel. I like the change of scenery. Take that up, and if you remember, I want to create stamens going to these. And this travel line is going to act as loft for my main stem later in the design. So I'll just sort these out and generate the stitches for these. And then in the next video we'll do the stamens. So I'm going to tell that generate, click off, and there's my yellow stitching. I don't like the way I've clipped that, so I highlight that, I go into edit, and I move that up between the two of them and tell that generate stitches and click off. And we'll look at it one to one And there it is. I need to get rid of this little blue stitch and that big long blue jump, and we'll do that now. I click on this, I click on the connection, and I tell that delete. Then I go up to my Save Design icon in the icon toolbar and I tell it save it. And in the next video, as I said, we will work on putting some stamens in, creating the circles, travelling back down our stamen, up to that one, travelling back down again, out to that one, creating it, travelling back down again. So I'll see you all in the next video.